Well, an unfortunate situation, a difficult week and weekend for Bishop Union High School and the girls varsity soccer team. The Broncos were supposed to play in the CIF Central Section Les Schwab Division 5 championship match on Saturday, but Bishop forfeited after an incident involving team members last Tuesday night. Now, it was determined that 8 members of the Bishop Union High School girls soccer team were found to have smoked marijuana on a road trip to a Rossi last Tuesday, where the Broncos won the semifinal game. Now, since it was a night match, school and team officials decided to have the team stay in a Rossi Tuesday night for safety concerns, so people wouldn't have to make the long drive back to Bishop at night. However, school officials later learned that 8 members of the Bishop Bronco girls soccer team left the hotel room that night and reportedly engaged in smoking marijuana. Now, those team members were not to be allowed to play in Saturday's title match, but the Broncos, with 16 players on the varsity roster, now did not have enough players to play in that title match against the #1 seed Fowler. Bishop Unified School District administration elected to forfeit the title game. Now, Bishop Unified School District Superintendent Barry Simpson issued the following press release on Friday night. Quote, "The administration of Bishop Union High School and Bishop Unified School District were forced to make the decision to forfeit the CIF Soccer Championship game scheduled on Saturday, February 27th. Violations of the athletic code of conduct by multiple members of our girls soccer team occurred. It is with regret that this decision had to be made at the end of what has been a very successful athletic campaign. This difficult decision was made to protect the integrity and tradition of Bronco athletics. Bishop Union High School will continue to hold student athletes to the highest standards of conduct and sportsmanship in the pursuit of victory with honor," end quote. And again, that was Bishop Union High School Superintendent Barry Simpson. Now, Mr. Simpson told Sierra Wave Media on Saturday, quote, "We had a group of kids that made a mistake. I don't want to go into the details about what they did, but a big group of girls made a big mistake following the semifinal win," end quote. And Superintendent Simpson also said, "We had to make a decision. We can't allow that to happen. I feel for the girls that were not involved that did the right things," end quote. Now, Superintendent Simpson also said, quote, "We're going to review our policies on how to handle away games with students staying in hotel rooms. We're going to tighten up curfews and chaperones. We felt like we had that in place," end quote. And again, that's from Superintendent Barry Simpson and the Bishop Union High School girls varsity soccer team forfeiting the CIF Central Section Division 5 championship match that was scheduled for Saturday night. Well, a big incident occurred last Thursday with multiple Eastern Sierra law enforcement agencies on scene. Now, a press release notes that late Thursday afternoon, Mono County Sheriff's deputies responded to Adobe Ranch Road, south of Highway 120 East, to investigate a report of a squatter in a vacant cabin. Now, that suspect, later identified as William Ward, broke into the property and illegally took up residence, that press release says. Deputies spotted Ward driving an older sport utility vehicle toward him on a narrow dirt road, and as that truck approached, the deputy blocked the road with his patrol vehicle and turned on his light bar. Press release states that Ward accelerated his truck and rammed the patrol vehicle. Fortunately, the deputy was able to get out of his truck prior to the impact. Ward reversed his truck and retreated toward the cabin. Press release says 2 deputies and a sergeant gave chase, eventually returning to the cabin. Ward took refuge in the cabin, and the pursuing deputies took positions of cover and ordered him to surrender. A request was made for additional resources and law enforcement officers from throughout Mono and Inyo counties, along with support from medics and Caltrans, immediately deployed to the scene. Meanwhile, Mono County Dispatch researched Ward's criminal history. He had felony convictions for weapons-related offenses and had been incarcerated in state prison twice for those offenses. Now, as the afternoon grew into the evening, Ward exited the cabin armed with a rifle and fired in the direction of law enforcement, shouting that they would have to kill him. Ward barricaded himself in the cabin, and it was clear he had no intention of ending the standoff peacefully, the press release says. A coordinated plan was put into place to diminish Ward's capabilities while allowing responding personnel to safely take him into custody. Tear gas was deployed into the cabin, and the team entered the cabin. Although Ward was still armed and fought being arrested, the team successfully disarmed him and took him down without significant injury. Medics were standing by and treated Ward for exposure to tear gas. No responding personnel suffered injury during this incident. Now, the Mono County Sheriff's Department says many thanks to the responding personnel from the California Highway Patrol, Inyo County Sheriff's Office, Bishop Police Department, California Department of Fish and Wildlife, the U.S. Forest Service, California State Parks, California Department of Transportation, Caltrans, Mono County Paramedics, and of course, the Mono County Sheriff's Office. Now, felony booking charges for William Ward were restricting and/or obstructing a peace officer, assault with a deadly weapon, exhibit a firearm to resist arrest, burglary, and evading a peace officer. Well, Deb Murphy filed this report for Sierra Wave Media. The prosecution continued to connect some of the dots during the fourth day of testimony in the embezzlement trial of Don D. Rossi last Thursday. Inyo County District Attorney Tom Hardy called two witnesses to verify the date and timestamps on surveillance videos from Manor Market and Alta One, as well as one of the investigators on the case. Daniel Jacobs, an employee at Manor Market who manages the store's technical systems, explained the computers and cameras were synced by a government time service. Jacobs testified he was told by law enforcement the content, date, and time on the tapes they were looking for. Now, the surveillance tape shows Rossi's husband, Ken Rossi, at the ATM as well as other areas of the store. Alta One security and facility coordinator James Kaiser, who started with the credit union in 2014, went over the operation of the credit union's motion sensor cameras and verified the location of video taken at the Bishop Branch drive-up and walk-up and the Lone Pine Branch walk-up ATMs. The videos were recorded in December of 2012 and January of 2013. The date and time of the drive-up ATM in Bishop were not identified in the testimony. Now, when defense attorney David Evans asked if Alta One was given a description of what they were looking for when the videos were requested, Kaiser said he had not received the request, but the credit union should have a record. Richard Beal, an investigator from the Inyo County District Attorney's Office, had been tasked with running down 16 addresses as part of the Rossi investigation. 12 of those addresses in Bishop and Big Pine did not exist. 4 were multi-unit buildings that did exist, but the addresses Beal ran down did not include an apartment number. He testified he initially did a drive-by on the 16 addresses, then followed up with a proprietary law enforcement database. The Don D. Rossi trial was recessed last Thursday until this morning. We'll be back with more news.